Have you ever heard of a gospel that wasn't included in the Bible? A text that features a woman as the most insightful disciple of Jesus? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating and controversial texts of early Christianity, the Gospel of Mary. This isn't the story of a fallen woman you might have heard about. This is the story of Mary Magdalene, a spiritual leader, a courageous apostle, and the one who understood Jesus' deepest teachings. So what secrets does this lost gospel hold? Let's explore the powerful message of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene together. First, let's set the scene. The surviving manuscript of the Gospel of Mary is incomplete. The first 6 pages are missing, and so are 4 pages in the middle. But what we have is absolutely electrifying. The text picks up right after the resurrection. The disciples are grieving and terrified. They've just lost their leader, and they're afraid the same fate awaits them. Jesus appears to them, gives them their final teachings and a commission. Go and preach the gospel of the kingdom. He tells them not to lay down any rules beyond what he taught them, and then he departs. This is where things get really interesting. Instead of feeling empowered, the disciples are paralyzed with fear. Peter says, "How can we go out to the Gentiles and preach the gospel of the kingdom of the Son of Man? If they did not spare him, how will they spare us?" It's a very human reaction, right? They're scared for their lives. But then Mary Magdalene stands up. She comforts them, turns their hearts toward the good, and reminds them of Jesus' constant presence with them. She single-handedly shifts the energy of the entire group from despair to determination. This moment establishes Mary as a central figure, a true leader among the apostles. Peter, recognizing her unique connection to Jesus, turns to her and says, "Sister, we know that the Savior loved you more than the rest of women. Tell us the words of the Savior which you remember, which you know, but we do not, nor have we heard them." He acknowledges that she received special teachings, private revelations that the other disciples weren't privy to. This sets the stage for the core of the gospel, Mary's vision. Mary begins to recount what the Savior revealed to her in a vision. This isn't a simple memory of a past conversation. It's a profound mystical experience, a journey of the soul. She describes a dialogue with Jesus about the nature of sin and reality. Jesus explains that sin as such does not exist. Now, this is a radical statement. He's not saying that our actions don't have consequences. He's saying that sin is not a permanent stain on our soul, but rather a temporary condition that arises from imbalance, from our attachment to the material world and our passions. The true problem is when the soul becomes enmeshed with materiality, forgetting its divine origin. The path to salvation, therefore, is an inward one. It's about finding the divine Son of Man within yourself. This leads to the central theme of the Gospel of Mary, the journey of the soul after death, or what is often called the soul's ascent. Mary describes her vision of the soul's journey through the cosmos. As the soul ascends, it encounters 4 hostile powers, or authorities, that try to hold it back. These aren't external demons in the way we might think of them. They are personifications of our inner obstacles, our own psychological baggage. The first power is darkness. The second is desire. The third is ignorance. And the fourth, the most formidable, is the wrath of death. Each power challenges the soul, questioning its right to pass. For example, the power of desire asks, "You did not see me, yet you recognized me. Where are you going, you who kill desire?" The soul must respond with wisdom, demonstrating that it has overcome these lower aspects of itself. The soul answers, "What binds me has been slain, and what surrounds me has been overcome, and my desire has been ended, and ignorance has died." In essence, the soul declares its freedom. It has achieved inner mastery by understanding its true nature, which is not material but spiritual. This is the key to liberation in the Gospel of Mary. It's not about blind faith or following external rules. It's about gnosis, a direct, personal, experiential knowledge of the divine. The soul must know itself to be free. By conquering its own inner passions and ignorance, the soul can finally say to the last power, "From the chains of forgetfulness and time I have been released." Having defeated these inner demons, the soul is no longer bound by the material world and can finally find its true home, its place of rest in the divine. After Mary finishes sharing this profound vision, the reaction from the other disciples is mixed. Andrew is skeptical. He says, "I at least do not believe that the Savior said this. For certainly these teachings are strange ideas." Peter is even more hostile. He gets angry and challenges Mary directly, questioning whether Jesus would really reveal such important things to a woman in private. He asks, did he really speak with a woman without our knowledge and not openly? Are we to turn about and all listen to her? Did he prefer her to us? This conflict is incredibly significant. It reflects the real-world tensions in the early Christian movement. There were debates about leadership, authority, and the role of women. Peter represents a more traditional, hierarchical structure, while Mary represents a more mystical, egalitarian path based on inner experience and spiritual merit, regardless of gender. It's a clash between external authority and internal direct revelation. Just as the conflict reaches its peak, another disciple, Levi, steps in to defend Mary. He rebukes Peter, saying, "Peter, you have always been hot-tempered. Now I see you contending against the woman like the adversaries. But if the Savior made her worthy, who are you indeed to reject her? Surely the Savior knows her very well. That is why he loved her more than us." Levi's defense is powerful. He validates Mary's experience and her leadership, reminding Peter that Jesus himself chose her. Levi then encouraged the disciples to put aside their division, accept Mary's teaching, and go out to preach the gospel as Jesus commanded. And with that, they do. The text ends with them going forth to proclaim the good news. So what is the ultimate message of the Gospel of Mary? It's a radical call for an inward spiritual journey. It teaches that salvation is found not by looking outside ourselves, but by looking within. We must overcome our own inner demons, our ignorance, desires, and attachments to realize the divine spark that resides in each of us. The soul's ultimate goal is to return to its origin, a state of eternal peace and rest. Mary Magdalene is presented as the perfect model for this journey. She is the one who truly understood Jesus' message of gnosis. She wasn't just a follower. She was a spiritual master in her own right, a leader who was brave enough to stand up and guide others when they were lost in fear and doubt. The Gospel of Mary gives us a glimpse into a different kind of Christianity, one where women could be spiritual authorities and where the path to God was through self-knowledge and inner transformation. It's a powerful and timeless message that still resonates with spiritual seekers today. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into the Gospel of Mary. It's a truly remarkable text that challenges us to think differently about the early Christian story. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more explorations into ancient mysteries. See you in the next video.